Of all of the concerns globally, in terms of the most imminent nuclear threats, what are you most worried about right now?
Well, at the moment is, of course, the possibility of a nuclear accident in Ukraine. At the moment, we have many things on our plate, as I'm sure you may know, Iran, North Korea, other things. But since you use the word imminent, or more urgent, or more pressing, undoubtedly, what's going on in Ukraine with the largest nuclear power plant in Europe, Zaporizhzhia, being regularly shelled, I think it's quite a thing.
You've actually had inspectors on the ground now for a few months, if I understand it correctly, in Zaporizhzhia.
Yeah, indeed. I went there. I took them there. It's not the same people. They have rotated. But we went there in the beginning of September. It was quite a dangerous itinerary there, but finally we made it to the plant, and we were able to settle a permanent mission by the IAEA, which performs a number of functions. First and foremost, provide assistance, technical advice to the plant operators, and at the same time inform, because quite clearly, because of the nature of the situation, as you know, this is a Ukrainian facility, but that has been occupied, or which sits in territory occupied, controlled by Russia, which creates an unprecedented situation. So we are there. We are overlooking the situation. We are informing on the condition of the plant, the problems that may appear, and in particular, the physical integrity of the place, which, as I said, incredible as it may sound, has been shelled on a number of occasions.
No, it does sound incredible, and I want to be clear about this because this is a Ukrainian plant. It's the largest plant, as you say, nuclear plant in all of Europe. It has been physically occupied by Russian soldiers illegally, but it's being shelled. Now, I assume it's being shelled, therefore, by Ukrainians. Is that correct?
Well, what you say is a very complicated issue, since we are there on a combat zone, on an active, disputed combat zone. So I try, from my perspective, I have a mission to accomplish, which is to prevent a nuclear accident from happening. So and my organization is, among other things, as I was saying at the beginning, is an inspectorate. So a good inspector, an auditor, before coming to any conclusion, has to have the elements to ascertain things like what you said. What we know is that this is happening and that this should stop now. So what I have been trying to do, and I'm trying as we speak to do, is to bring everybody to an agreement on protecting, sanctuarizing, if you allow me the word, the plant, so that it is not used as a platform for any military action, or it is not attacked. Whoever may be doing that could be relevant at some stage, but what we need to have and to find is a common understanding on the fact that no one, neither Ukraine nor Russia, would benefit from a nuclear accident in that part of the world.
Can I ask you how close we've come, in your view, to a nuclear accident so far, and what such an accident, God forbid, would look like?
Well, we have been close to it. For example, when I visited the plant, I was taken to a rooftop of a large hall where fresh nuclear fuel sits on racks waiting to be moved to the plants. Well, there were two very large holes on that roof that had been caused by ammunition, high caliber ammunition, which could have impacted the fuel there and creating a big accident there. There have been other occasions where other parts of the facility were impacted by ammunition, by shelling. So the possibility of an accident is there. It's not a hypothetical scenario that we are creating to alarm anybody. The dimension of the accident would depend on the amount of radioactive material that would be involved. It could range from a very limited amount to something quite big. So, and I'm sorry if I'm not being precise, but it is the gap, is the delta that it is so worrying, because it could be, you have literally dozens, thousands of uranium, enriched uranium sitting there, some plutonium in the spent fuel. So the consequences could be really dramatic.
So this is an insane situation. Before we move on to a couple other places, I want to ask you a last piece. Do you think the Russians and the Ukrainians are now finally taking your proposal adequately seriously?
They do. I must say, I met with President Zelensky a few times. I'm expecting to see him again soon. I met President Putin in October. We were discussing this. So I think the seriousness, the problem at hand is very well understood. The problem here is that this table I'm negotiating at has become a bigger table where you do not only have diplomats or nuclear safety experts, you have generals, you have people in green fatigues. So, and this is a war. So people are looking at the establishment of the zone through the lens of the military advantage or disadvantage that it may create. And this is what makes it a bit more elusive, but I'm working very hard to try to bring them to some sort of agreement, not among themselves, because they will never agree with each other. They will agree, and this is what I'm asking them, they have to agree with me, and that is good enough.